Yo,
What up? What up?
Woo. Welcome to the special Thanksgiving edition of
That's right, man. Episode 167, right?
Yeah, man.
Right?
167, bro.
Absolutely. Welcome back, everybody, to the Carpet Footman Podcast. He is Juan and I'm Sean, and every week we get together, have a few drinks, talk about things going on in the world, try to focus on things making an impact, whether they be good, bad, or otherwise. Hit him with the drink of the day.
Ooh, listen, man. We got and I can't. We always have something delicious because, truth be told, if it sucks before the pod, we scrap it.
Damn right.
So I gotta stop saying we got a delicious one because it's always gonna be good. But we've done tequila old fashions before. So this week we have a tequila old fashioned, but switched it up a little bit with first off this Adictivo tequila, which the first time I had anything from this brand was you got me a bottle of a bourbon that these guys made, and it was awesome. And actually, this bottle was a gift from my uncle, and this is great too. It's their tequila. But it's their clear tequila. So I've never done an old fashioned with the clear tequila. Normally using the añejo or the reposado. Right. So doing the tequila old fashioned with
right?
this, yeah. And so what I did was muddled an orange wedge with cherry bitters, Angostura bitters, and agave syrup.
Oh, you use cherry bitters?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so I muddled that up, and which is why the color looks like that still, even though it's not a dark liqueur. And then so muddled that, added the tequila. Stirred it, filled with ice on the mixing glass, stir it for a while, and then pour it in a rocks glass with a ball of ice, and use an orange peel as the garnish and a filthy cherry this week. So instead of the bada bing, we did the filthy cherries this week. So filthy cherry, and I like to use a little bit of that cherry syrup, like a bar spoonful. Yep. And when I mix it all as well, I feel like it adds a little flavor and then that little color too, where it looks like you're using a reposado or something. But it's really good.
Absolutely.
And it's actually really good. I mean, I'm telling you, I feel like we can open up a cocktail parlor of just old fashions at this point, but like different variations, man. They're so good, dude.
Dude, I feel like there's so much that we haven't tried yet. Like at first I thought we were gonna run out. Oh, it's not even close, bro.
You can't, man. Because even the same drink, the variations of it that you could do, man, it's just like, yeah.
And do not adjust your TV sets for those of you watching on YouTube. That bottle is twisted.
Somebody right now is like adjusting the what do you call that? The
fucking contrast.
The contrast or
that bottle
sharpness.
It's a cool ass bottle, man. The bottle's actually like, it looks like it's twisting.
Yeah, and the top of it is actually a shot glass, which is awesome, and it's full of. You can't. I don't know if you're watching on the video, you can see a little bit, but it's actually full of tequila, and yeah, you can pull that off, and there's another little cap on it you can twist off, and you can drink it. So, which I did with the one you gave me. I drank the bourbon out of there, but yeah, that's an awesome. It's such an attractive looking bottle, man. It's really cool. Those things are awesome, dude. But yeah, this one's good. I'm on. I think I'm on my third one now.
Yep, you are.
So yeah,
I'm finishing up my second.
About to get real.
I'm gonna have to,
so I apologize in advance for anything wild I'm about to say on the podcast.
All right, man, hit him with the carbon footprint. What you got?
It's in carbon footprint in the spirit of things being impactful and of Thanksgiving. I'm actually giving it to you, bro. So okay. I'll give it to you for not just. I'm having a lot of conversations with people, man, lately, and a lot of like self-reflection and self-thought. And just realizing, I think not only this pod that we get to come here every week and like talk shit and sort of vent, right? But like in our personal lives, man, like I think you're that person that I could go to even when I'm so out of pocket and just tell you something that I'm thinking about. Yep. And I'm never worried that you're gonna think I'm a fucking nut job or say something, whatever. Like you'll check me, but I think just having people around you that you can talk to and just fucking vent to and just go to for like that fucking piece of like, yo, this is ludicrous, but I have to tell you and just tell you, and like for non-fear of judgment and all that. And you've been that for me for as long as I can remember, man. And I'm like, I don't know what I would have done. Not just like I've had a weird couple of years in my life, but I think just in general, man, like you're old as fuck, so I always look at shit that you've done. But nah, jokes aside, but like just thinking back to like when I met you, man, I was like 20, and then to now when I'm like 37, and I think about like just conversations that have like helped like just shaped either decisions that I made or things that I've done, but also just I think keeping me sane because I got shit off my chest that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. I have you, man. So, so cheers, man.
Cheers, brother.
I appreciate you, brother.
I drink to that, damn it.
Man. So doing it to you. So no matter what happens to me, if I fall apart, I think it's on you.
Either way, if you're successful or if you're a shitbag,
if I'm a shitbag,
it's my fault.
It's your fault.
But no, I think what you said there is so true. Everybody needs somebody that you can kind of rattle off, like thoughts that you've had, situations that you run into, things that maybe you don't want to tell a loved one because you don't want to hurt their feelings or whatever. Like you got to have that person that you can kind of like just vent to and get. Even sometimes you got sadistic thoughts, man, that you know that you're not going to follow through with.
Right, but you gotta get it out.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, and you've been that for me as well, man. So
yeah,
so
man,
definitely grateful for that.
Man, and we've been able to do, like you said, sometimes it's just that. Like, can I call you for a second? And it'll be some like sadistic shit. It'll be like,
I'm gonna kill this.
Yeah. And then it'll be like, all right, that's off my chest. Cool, I'll talk to you later. We doing a pod this week still?
You'd be like, wait a minute. You didn't tell anybody else this, right? All right, cool. Don't tell nobody else this, man. You good?
My favorite shit ever was recently you text me and said, "Yo, are you okay? I just got a collect call from prison."
Yo, you know what's funny, man?
That shit was so funny because I was like, yo, of all the people, he thought about me first.
No, man. You know what it was, bro? And it's funny you say that. And I don't even got a chance to explain it to you. I got a collect call from somebody in prison. I didn't understand whose name they said it was in the collect call. So like, right, you have a collect call from, and then it has a fucking recording of the person's voice. I didn't recognize the name. I couldn't even make out what the name was. And then I ran down the kind of the Rolodex in my head of the people that I actually gave a fuck about that might be in jail.
For one of the sadistic things.
And I was like, and then of course you go like, okay, here's that short list of people, and then you go, who would be calling me, right? Some of them don't live in this state, so I know it's not them. So it came down to you, bro.
Listen, I get it. And I was like, oh. I thought my boy would have picked up. Because then I was like, yo, I'd probably call you. I was like, if I didn't call somebody from my family, I'm like, I would definitely have called you. I'm like, I was trying to go down the line. I'm like, I guess it depends why I was in jail. Because I'm like, if I was in jail for some shit I told you first, I'd have been like, remember that thing we was talking about?
I did it.
I did it.
That's dope.
It didn't work out. But yeah, man, so shout out to you and anybody out there, man, who has like people they could go to for shit like that, man. I was like,
yeah, man, shit is important, bro.
It is, man.
I read something recently, man, and it was like some post on IG where it was like, it talked about just men. It's one of those like men fucking accounts where they talk about like just, it's funny, usually funny shit that's very true about men. But one of them was talked about that way. It was like, a lot of times guys don't have people to go to. It's like we're dependent on, like I would like say, like if you're married with kids, right? Your wife depends on you and your kids depend on you. And then if you have some level of competence, there's other people in your family that also depend on you. And this is like, you're like, who do we depend on? And obviously, if you're in a relationship, right? Like hopefully you can depend on your spouse or your significant other. But sometimes, you don't have that outlet. And the outlet is important, and so not only for men, I'm sure it's important for women too, man.
But I think women are better about sharing their feelings. Like I don't think it's an issue for women to find someone, and or maybe the issue is finding someone. But I don't think women have trouble expressing themselves. Or I think men we've been told for so long to kind of suppress shit and don't be a bitch. That like I think, bro, like to your point, I think I'm super guilty of this too. Like whether it's like love life, personal life, like friendships, work, whatever it is, like you just kind of handle shit and move on, and you don't really talk about how you feel. Whether that's like, if somebody makes you feel great, like we're really bad about telling people that. I think somebody pisses you off, we're really bad about telling you that. If somebody like, it just showing gratitude or showing appreciation for someone, like I just think we're just bad about doing that in general. Bro. I know I'm really bad about that, and like because I've always been the like, you know, to your point, is like you kind of get in this like whatever, I'm the protector provider mode, and I can't show weakness or whatever, and then you kind of just like program, I guess, to go down this route, and yeah, man, but I think there's a reason we all die fucking really young from heart disease and all kinds of shit, the stress induced and whatever. And it's like, at what point in time do you go, yo, you can be those things and then keep a level of sanity that you need to do those things at the highest level?
Absolutely.
I guess is what it'll be, man. So.
And also, man, you know, one of the things that I learned from Gary Vee, actually, was like how to take a compliment better. I was really, for a long time, man, I was really bad about taking compliments, man. And I actually watched him take compliments, and somebody would compliment him on something, you know, you changed my life, or I fucking followed your steps and did this great thing, what have you. And he always goes, yo, thank you. That's an amazing compliment. And I'm like, wow, man, like, so simple.
I'm horrible about that, bro.
Yeah, like I get this weird feeling in my stomach, man. I want to go like hide. I want to go like put something over me. Like, what are you talking about? I'm great. No, I'm not.
I don't even know if it's. I never feel like I deserve the compliment, but it sounds worse. That sounds worse than how I mean it, I guess, is like what I'm trying. It's like,
yeah, like, we never think that what we do is that is deserving of a compliment. It's just like, I just did what I did.
I just did what I did. I just did what I felt. I just did what I thought. I just did what I like. And you're never doing it for the like compliment. But in the same token, I guess we get pissed off if there isn't like
there's some kind of gratitude,
right? For sure. But like, I'm horrible at taking compliments. So, like, you've done it to me where you'll be like, "Oh man, you did," and I'm like deflect or try to like think. I'm fucking terrible, bro. Like at doing it, because again, I just never.
But then every time, I don't know if you ever noticed, man, when you deflect, I bring it back, and I'm like, no, dude.
Now you make me
like,
sit in it.
Like, no, dude. Like, you gotta understand, like, what you did, and I fucking I'll hype you up because.
And you've gotten me. Actually, you said that you've gotten me better about doing that because you go like, no, I'm not gonna let you. Like, I look for the out of the deflection, and you're like, nah, I'm not giving you that out.
Nope.
Like, and you make me sort of face it, and I'm like, fuck, I have to send it. Like, yeah, because again, like, I never do anything with the intent of getting, like, I guess, the pat on the back or the compliment or the, I don't know. I'm just. Dude, and it can be anything, man. It could be like something we did on the pod or like, whatever. It's just, I'm never, I guess my intent is always to just be me and do what I thought in the moment. And it's never like, oh, I'm trying to get.
It's not like I'm doing it right. I'm not trying to be great.
Right. Yeah.
But then there's things that we do, like we just do what we do, and then we have positive impact on people. And so when we get those compliments, like, you gotta like be in the moment and accept it and acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I gotta do better about that for sure, man. Especially it's like doing this, man. We've gotten, I've talked to people who give us compliments about the pod, or they'll say something like, "Man, you guys get me through my work day," or, like, I was feeling this way about this thing, and you guys talked about it, and it made me feel like I wasn't the only person that thought that way about it. And and it's never to say that we're right or wrong about a topic, but it's like, oh. That's cool. First off,
it's like I'm the only one that's thinking fucked up shit.
No, for real. Like, yeah, and I think that's exactly what it is. It's like, yo, I wasn't the only one thinking fucked up shit. And I think there's also this gratitude that comes with like, oh shit, you listen. Like, the fact that people actually listen is mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
So when I still hear people, like, I can see the numbers obviously, so I know there's people listening, but it still blows my mind when somebody talks to me about it and they give me like parts, and I'm like, oh, you listened for real? Oh shit. Okay. Because normally I get the normally I get the like, oh, listen, it was cool. I'm like, yeah, thank you. And then but when they like actually give me like the part where you guys are talking about this, I'm like, oh fuck, you mean you actually listened? I'm like, I'm sorry. I've been talking into this mic into the ether forever. I just assume it just goes into cyberspace.
All right, man, good. Yo, my carbon footprint is going out to the city of Oakland, California.
Ooh, Oakland. They ain't been acknowledged for nothing in a while.
That's right, and I'm about to unacknowledge them bitches too. Oakland, California, you have officially lost all of your major league sports teams. How fucked up? Oh. Well, first of all, hold on. The Oakland A's are officially moving. Actually, I shouldn't say officially. It's been decided, unanimous vote by the MLB owners. The Oakland A's baseball team, Major League Baseball team, is moving to Las Vegas. And we're going to get into the whole Las Vegas thing after.
Yeah.
But with this, the fans were pissed off with the owner. They were saying that the owner didn't properly invest in the team. They showed that by not showing up to the games this year.
Yeah.
There was an average. They had a season low average of just like over 10,000 people per game, which is nothing, right, for a baseball game.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Dude, it's the first major league team to change cities since the Montreal Expos have became the Washington Nationals back in 2005.
Okay.
But this team has relocated 3 times.
The Oakland A's?
Yes, they went from Philly to Kansas City.
Oh, wow.
And then Kansas City, that was back in 1955. Then they went to Oakland in 1968. And now it is all but official. They are going to Las Vegas. Now that's not without some
yeah, there's some still votes after
some blowback
and,
too,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because there's a whole like thing with the teachers union in Nevada.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like they're wanting more money, but the city is gonna put a bunch of money to the stadium.
To the stadium.
Right. So they're like, wait a minute, hold on. We asking for this money and you're gonna fucking do this? Like, you know, hey, and I'll let them fucking fight that shit out, right? But it's looking like it won't be set, the stadium won't be ready until 2028.
So they'll just well play where the college plays?
I don't know when I don't know when the move is actually going to happen, but I guess it's not going to.
You kind of have to pull the trigger on that ASAP, right? Because you're going to have shitty attendance in Oakland next year because they know they're gone, and year after that, so you'd almost have to just go. I wonder if you could just go play at the college.
I didn't think
or
about
you figure out something.
UNLV or some shit.
Yeah, you do something like that. Bro, I've been telling anybody who would listen that Vegas is, so you know how there was like this, like during COVID, there was a mass like a migration to like Florida, to Nashville and Tennessee, to Austin and Texas.
Yes.
To Vegas to me is that hot spot.
That.
And a lot of this was the sports teams. A lot of this was like the Raiders moving there, and then I figured.
Oh, then they got their hockey.
They got
team.
the hockey team, the Knights, and then I figured the MLB was next. And make no mistake, I think the NBA expands. I don't think they move a team. I think they expand into Vegas and they add an extra team. Or you know, I guess if you move somebody. I don't know. You could move the Magic. Yeah, you could move the Magic, or you could move Sacramento
I would hope
or
not,
somebody like that. Yeah, I would hope not. But I think. They're gonna get an NBA team, and so I keep telling people like that's the place where you want to buy real estate right now. That's the place where you want to invest in. That's the place like Vegas is gonna be that. It's a no state tax state. It's like one of those like it's going to have this renaissance here over the next 2 decades. I think where Vegas is gonna be the place.
And Vegas has been doing well.
No, phenomenal, but it wasn't a place where you consider moving to. And I think that's what this is changing. I think this is going to make it, because I mean, obviously there's going to be jobs that are just outside of casinos, outside of hospitality. You know, you can have jobs in sports and all that, but I think now you get corporations moving there because it happens. And you're seeing this influx of Hollywood people. It was the other part of this was that a lot of A-list Hollywood actors, because of some of the tax rules that they've done in Orange County and in LA, they've now decided to like sell there and move to, you know, other states. And a lot of them are choosing Vegas because like, okay, I can drive to LA if I need to.
But yeah, it's like a 3-hour drive?
Yeah, it's like us to Miami. It's like 3.5, 4 hours or whatever it is. And then you can go and, you know, I think Nevada's going to start offering tax breaks for movie sets and that sort of thing. So I'm like, I think it's the place right now that I'm looking at going like, man, that might be a good place to buy some property at some point in time. If you get some, you know, if you can get something on the low and, you know, a rental property or an Airbnb property or whatever it is, bro. Like that might be the place right now, man, because they're on the up.
Well, check this out, man. So my first question when I first saw this was just like, how shitty of a city do you have to be to lose all of your teams?
You got to be pretty
right?
shitty, bro.
So like they lost the Raiders, they went to Vegas. Now they lost the A's, they went to Vegas.
Okay.
And they lost the fucking Warriors. The Warriors went to San Francisco, which is not far.
Oh, I forgot. It's right across the bridge.
Yeah, it's not far. So you can still kind of claim them, but you can't.
Yo, you're right, man. How
you know what I mean?
What's
and
left?
So I looked it up. Nothing. There's nothing left, bro. So the local high school team.
Is that where they pushed the homeless people? Because I know they cleaned up San Francisco recently too. Did they send them all to Oakland? Yeah, you didn't hear about this?
No, I know that shit was really bad.
The leader of China went on a visit to San Francisco.
Yeah.
And suddenly the homeless people were gone, bro. Like literally. So you know all those tent towns?
What?
They put fences up around them. The tents were gone.
Here.
They pressure washed the streets. They must have sent the homeless people to Oakland. Because maybe the president of China or whatever, the leader of China, whatever you call him, bro. He China's daddy, whatever the fuck he is, he might not cross the bridge over to Oakland. So maybe I bet you they just push the homeless people over there,
dude. Well,
they put them in the baseball stadium. There's not put them in
it's now filled with tents. So I looked it up, man, and some of the things that I was looking at where I was like, oh yeah, well, no wonder. Oakland is the 8th riskiest city in the country overall, including the 2nd riskiest in home and community safety. Oakland has the highest rate of property crime of California's 10 largest cities.
Oh, we should stop talking shit about Oakland. That's what this tells me.
Yeah, probably. No. We just never go there.
We're never doing a live pod from
That's
Oakland.
right. Oh, and then the last one that I saw, man, Oakland, out of 182 cities, they talked about cities, the best cities to like raise families.
Yeah.
Out of 182 cities, they ranked 103.
Damn.
Yeah, bro. So you're not even close to the top.
103.
You're not even in the middle.
Yeah, so you're not even in the top.
You're more towards the shitty end.
You're not in the 50th percentile. Jeez, bro.
And I'm like, yo, like sports and kind of families kind of go together. Right?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
That's for everything. It's for baseball, it's for football, it's for basketball. If you don't have a community of people that can come out and support, you leave, bro.
Yeah.
And dude, I could see if it was one, but 3 teams, bro, in the last in 3 teams in like the last 10 years.
Yeah.
The
Raiders just moved.
Has it even been that long?
I don't even think it's been that long.
I don't know.
The Raiders just moved.
I don't know. Oh, hold on. When did
the Raiders? This might be year 3 in Las Vegas.
Oh, so sorry. So in the last, so the Warriors moved in 2019. This is all in the last like 3 to 5 years, bro. Wow. A fucking mass exit out of the city is not by mistake, bro. Oakland, get your shit together.
Yeah,
you guys are fucked up.
And I know they tried to come to the table at the last minute, and they're blaming the ownership.
They're blaming the owner, yeah.
The ownership about negotiating a new stadium deal. But I think this wasn't something that you could have fixed this wasn't a last minute thing. This has been a build up for years. Correct. And to your point, there's a reason why people are now choosing to leave Oakland and then go there. You know, there's business reasons. And I think you'd be nuts to not put a team in Las Vegas right now. They did before, no one would do it because of the gambling.
Right.
And all the sports leagues had rules against gambling. And then the NFL or the NHL was the first one to take that risk, really. And then the NFL followed suit. And now with the new commissioner in the NBA, he's sort of been really open to gambling and accepting that. And I saw ESPN even now has its own gambling
is that right?
Company. Yeah, man. So I think sports gambling is not going anywhere, man. And it's going to be the thing now that makes you watch a Sports Center type show or whatever Fox Sports does in terms of their sports news and all. Like, I think we need to like, I don't want to say high stakes, but we need something on the line, I think, to care. And this is why fantasy football is so big, because for a lot of people, you know, like I don't play fantasy football, but I know for a lot of people that watch it, it sort of gives you a reason to watch the games every week and keep up with it. And I think we just need a reason to care.
Yep.
And I think gambling does that for a lot of folks. It's like, even if you're only gambling $5, for some people, it's just the fun of doing a $5 parlay over a weekend with multiple games. And that, you know, like, it's just a big mistake to not be in Vegas. And I think now that they're finally embracing that, the cities, I should say poor city, the cities who were poorly managed or poorly run or managed to sort of not cater to the needs of the teams and the people are going to lose their teams to cities like that.
Yeah.
So.
And dude, so did you watch the F1 this weekend, right?
Oh my God, yeah.
Speaking of Vegas.
I was looking forward to that all season. When they announced that last year, man, I was like, that is going to be an absolute spectacle. You know, in my mind, again, I didn't know it was going to come out this cool looking. I'm thinking Vegas, nighttime, F1 cars on the strip.
Oh,
I'm in. Yeah, that's all I thought. I didn't think about the absolute fucking crazy show that they put on. I mean, it was kind of gaudy, but it was cool.
Dude, it was
like, it was so cool, man.
Bro.
Yeah.
And then you could see, like, if you have hotel rooms that face when your window faces the strip, you literally watching the F1 race from your hotel room.
From your hotel room.
Dude, the amount of celebrities that showed up there that you didn't think would even give a fuck about. I mean, Rihanna was there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
F1 is...
Dude, it was insane, man. And then because it started at what, like midnight Eastern time?
Yeah,
something
it was
like
1
that?
a.m. Eastern.
Was when it started?
Yeah.
But not for nothing, bro. Me, my wife, and one of my sons watched that shit And because of what I knew about it from you and the little bit that I paid attention, I kind of had some storylines on some of the guys.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously knew the top dude, and then like Lewis Hamilton is another dude, right? So, and my son came out going like, Lewis Hamilton, like that, he's gonna win, you know. So, and he don't know shit about F1, but just the fact that he knew
who Lewis Hamilton
who
was,
it was, and he actually came out with somebody to root for, I thought was really cool. The race was fucking close. I mean, the second to third place switched in the last lap. So it was, dude, it was really cool.
Like, they couldn't have asked for a better inaugural race there in terms of, because the races this year have mostly been boring.
I think they want to start earlier next year.
Yeah, and then last week's race was really good. Last week or the week before, the race was really good. It ended, or it went down to the wire for the second, third again.
Yep.
And then this week it happened for the second, third again too, where it came down to the wire. But last week's was literally, or the last race was literally like side by side, who crossed the finish line first.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then this week was at least that battle where Leclerc took over at the end there.
Yeah.
But and it was funny to see because he has been having a terrible season. He's been blowing that all year. Where he
really?
ends up, you're like, nah, he's gonna blow this shit somehow. Like Ferrari has just been a fucking disaster this year with their strategy.
Yeah.
They either pit too early, pit too late, and then they cost themselves a race, or their car breaks down, or they fucking crash, or whatever.
The pitting. So like I had never watched an F1 race other than maybe like a little bit here and there, but never a full race, right?
Yeah.
So first one that I watched, dude, they pit. It's seconds.
2 seconds, bro, is like
It's like 2.7. I'm like, what are they doing?
McLaren,
how are they getting the fucking wheels off?
Dude, like a month ago, McLaren
What do they have?
set a record. Oh my god!
They got one fucking
it's
bolt
like
on
one
the wheel?
giant. I think that's what it is. It feels like that. Dude, McLaren set
It has to be.
a world record. It's like 1.8 seconds, 1.7 seconds pit stop on all 4 tires.
That's fucking insane.
And they don't do
bro.
gas, so you gotta they don't do gas.
They
anymore.
don't do gas.
No gas.
So when do they get gas? Ever?
Nope. You're only allowed to fuel once. Beginning of the race. That's it. They got rid of that for safety reasons. So there's no more gas. You're not allowed to gas up mid race anymore. So that's why
That
you never
makes
see
sense,
them
man,
doing it
because
now.
you need a fucking fire hose.
But the power units are hybrids too. I don't know if you noticed that. Like they're hybrid units, so they're half electric, half gas.
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
And I don't know if you guys noticed in the race, like the whole DRS thing where they open up, it gives you a boost.
So I had to Google that. Shit.
Google it,
I had to Google that shit, and I figured out like, what is this DRS thing? And it's just like, it's like something with the wing, and it's like you could only do it at certain parts of the track.
Yes.
And so I was like, oh, okay.
And
so
it's only available to you at certain points, certain track.
Right.
You have to be a certain distance behind somebody. Like, it's awesome, like the way it sort of kicks in, I guess, quote unquote.
And they get penalized and shit, man.
Yeah.
Where like Verstappen, which is the guy that won the race, he ends up getting like a 5-second penalty for something that I didn't really know that he did. He ends up touching another car.
Yeah, he touched another. So you're like certain race, like what they call like race lanes, is you're supposed to sort of, it's like driving on the road. You're supposed to give someone the right of way, and it's a safety thing where you don't. Like if someone goes to cut the inside corner and you don't force them off track or into a wall or whatever, it's like if they've made it to sort of this apex or thing before you have to let them have it.
That couldn't be NASCAR, man. They're putting it right in the
They
wall.
don't give a fuck. They'll put you in the wall. Yeah. So there's like these rules in F1 of like, if someone gets there first and you happen to bump them and spin them out, it's on you. Like so, it's a way to, I guess, keep it safe.
Yep.
So that's why Verstappen got penalized. I think for what he did to Leclerc, he like tapped him or something.
Yeah.
And sort of they gave him a 5-second penalty. But I love the radio chatter where
he's like, give him my regards.
Give him my regards. And he's like, 5 seconds. Win. Okay, I'm still gonna win. And he still wins by like 5 seconds or whatever.
Which I also saw there was a guy who came in. I don't know, like I think it was with the Mercedes-Benz team. He came in like
Russell
5th or something. Yeah, I think it was Russell. Came in like 5th, but he had a penalty.
Yeah.
So he ended up in like 9th or something.
Yeah,
like
dude.
that.
Because the 5 seconds makes a huge difference, man. Especially after Verstappen.
Yeah, it's like a fucking
it doesn't make a
quarter track.
difference for Verstappen, but it is. It's a quarter track, bro. For the rest of the guys, like 2 through 20, it's 5 seconds is huge. But for Verstappen, he's up 20 seconds normally, so he doesn't care.
And I like the fact that it was 50 laps, not like a Daytona 500. Obviously different cars, but it's like 500 laps.
No, dude, F1 races are quick. Like, Daytona lasts 3.5 hours or whatever.
And that's what I did not want to see. I did not want to see 100 laps.
Dude, it's an hour and a half tops.
Yeah.
And race is over. As I say, I've been all in on this shit, man.
It was kind of like watching the game.
Yeah. Well,
but even
it's
better.
shorter than
It's
an NBA game, shorter than a NFL game. you know, it's also starting to understand like soccer is very short like that too. No commercials. It's just in and out. And F1's like that. As long as if there's no wrecks and all that, you're getting these 51 laps in an hour and 15 minutes and the race is done. You know, like it's quick. Good. Like you know, what slows it down is the crashes. It's the wrecks. You know, so if you don't have,
and they had a wreck right where they had to clean up some debris off the field, off the track. But kudos to Vegas, man. They seem to be doing everything fucking right. They're luring in fucking teams, luring in, F1 races, man.
And I know they had an issue on the practice thing on the Thursday where some drain covers came. But again, it's the first year this event happens. That shit won't be a problem anymore.
I heard there's like a class action lawsuit for the people.
Because for the people, the crowd, because they got to watch a minute of racing or whatever. And listen, man, going back to the actual race, that costs Carlos Sainz, one of the Ferrari drivers, like a good positioning because he gets, which I don't necessarily like the rule, but I guess there are scenarios where you don't want people abusing it. His car gets totaled in this shit, so they have to fix it. So when you have to replace certain things in F1, you have to take like 10 place penalties or 10, you know what? So no matter where you qualify,
like a $2 million fucking like damage to the car.
Yeah, to the car. And then you go, he qualified, let's say he qualified 2. It's like, well, now you have to go to 12 because you changed this thing on your car. And it doesn't matter if it was your fault or not. It's a big deal. You know, Formula One, it's a difference in winning or not. Because normally people end up finishing where they start, right? Like if you start 1 in Formula One, you're probably winning, except for this year because Verstappen could be 20. And I actually think they should have did that shit for fun, bro, is after he clinched, just let him go to 20 and let's see where he ends up by the end of the race. Because that motherfucker, bro.
Dude, he's good.
Dude, he started 12th a few weeks back or something. And it was just like, you know, 5-6 laps in, he already cut it in half. And then, you know, by like the 15th lap, he's already in like the top 3. You're like,
good for that guy, bro.
Yeah, man. And I know Red Bull's car is just insane. There is absolutely something to his skill set that he's got, man. There's something that, because Checo has the same car, supposedly, and I love Checo, man. He awesome driver and obviously second in the standings. But there's something Max Verstappen does that you're just like, and
he's got that it factor, bro.
Yeah, man. He's like, there's just something there, man, where you're like, okay, clearly he drives a car a little bit different than the rest of the people who drive cars. So shout out to them, man.
Absolutely. What you want to get into?
This shit is good, man. So I had some funny ones here. We gotta get into the dude jerking off at the gas station. I know that shit sounds fucked up, and I feel like I'm always talking about.
I don't know if I want to get into that.
I feel like I'm always talking about someone jerking off at a gas station. I swear it's not on purpose. I don't want to talk about
dudes jerking off. Was man arrested at a gas station? I did not know what it was for.
Oh, you didn't know what it was for? My apologies. He was jerking off. So as an Iowa man, he was arrested on a warrant stemming from an incident he allegedly had at a gas station where he was pleasuring himself in front of customers. Now,
he didn't go to the bathroom.
No, he just did that shit in the gas station. Bro, I'm going to put this on the gas station, though. So the gas station's name, I'm dead ass, bro, because you're basically asking for it. The name of the gas station is Come and Go, and spelled K-U-M.
He said, okay.
He said, all right. I'm gonna come and go.
I'm gonna go right after this. Leave me alone,
bro. Who the fuck names their gas station Come and Go
why with a K-U-M?
Just spell it with the C-O-M-E.
Yeah,
and no one gets anything. But I see the K-U-M. I'm going, I think I should really be jerking off at this gas station.
They got glory.
Like I'm uncomfortable, but yo, imagine there's some guy in a stall just tapping his feet. Bro, it's fucking nuts.
You know, I've always heard about those fucking Glorios. Have you ever been to somewhere that has had it? Like, I've never seen it in person.
I have.
Yeah?
I've not done it, but I have been to a place. Yeah, there's an adult store here that sells toys.
Yeah. It's only a few.
Yeah, so you'll know which one I'm talking about. It is a well-known one and has a little movie section where you can watch movies and stuff, and there are holes in the wall in some of these little rooms.
Get the fuck out of here.
Bro.
Yeah?
Yep. So, I mean, I have not... Listen, maybe they're retired holes. Maybe they were just there from a point in time. I don't know if they're still active. Dude, I didn't stick my dick through it to find out.
Dude, it's fucked up because you don't know who's on the other side. Right? Could be the best blowjob you ever had. You're like, that's a dude.
Yeah, and then it's a guy.
he knew.
And you like, thank you. He's like, you're welcome. Oh, shit. It sound like Batman on the other end. No problem.
You feel violated, you come out of there.
Is it gay if you liked it?
No.
It's only gay if you knew ahead of time.
If you knew ahead of time. It still went through with it.
Oh, man. But, bro, name your gas station something better, man. People, I'm like, we're not all built the same. Some people would take things very literal, and that's the very confusing name. Come and Go is kind of wild, bro, to name your gas station that.
Fucking A, man.
I'm like, hey, man, he did his thing.
Dude, this week, man, on your advice, last week.
My apologies.
Don't apologize. It was great.
Okay, cool. I'm going to take it.
I spent some time that I'll never be able to get back watching Love on a Spectrum.
Let's go. Let's go.
So let me tell you. So typically on the weekends, I'm up before everybody. I go or walk the dogs. I come back. I make some coffee, and I usually read. Like until like I don't want like no one's awake.
Yeah.
Right. So
the best time.
It's
bro.
fucking great.
Yeah, it's the best time.
This time I'm like, oh shit, the Love on the Spectrum. I gotta put this on.
Now, U.S. or Australia?
U.S.
Okay, U.S. Okay.
Is Australia better?
I haven't seen U.S. I only watched Australia.
Okay,
so now, okay.
So I think I'm in like 2 episode, maybe like 2 or something, maybe towards the end. My wife wakes up. She comes out. And she's like, what are you watching? And I'm like, this is the best show that I've ever seen. You got to come watch this. And so I'm explaining, right? So as I'm explaining what this is. And so for those of you who don't know or didn't hear us last week, Love on a Spectrum is people that are on the spectrum of autism. So, and it could be like, it's anywhere on the spectrum,
Yeah,
right?
some of them are really far gone, or some of them are just barely there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, so I'm explaining this, and right away she's like appalled, and she's like, "I can't believe you're watching this," because I'm going like, I'm going, yo, do you not see the comedic factor in this? Like, this is fucking great, right? Because they're so honest and everything. Oh, it's great.
We could learn from those,
bro. There was one dude that he's there, and it's his birthday, and his mom is giving like kind of like a speech. So he's like he's there with his family and his maybe like 2 or 3 like other autistic friends.
Okay,
and they're there, and she's giving like a speech for him. And I was just saying like I don't know, like this is gonna be a great year, and I'm so proud of him. Blah 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 blah. Yo, midway he goes, "Mom, when are you gonna stop talking?" And then I'm like, bro, I was thinking the same thing.
But you wouldn't have.
But I had to.
You would have held it.
I had the social cues, right?
We had the social cues. Oh, man.
Bro, so she comes out. And best thing is that I don't stop playing it. My wife sits down. Bro, we binge watch the whole fucking season, bro.
All 77 episodes.
Bro, by the end, my wife is crying. She's all in, bro. She's fucking all in, bro.
It's so funny. Dude, and their honesty is honestly a breath of fresh air. Bro, we could learn something from the honesty that they have, because they say shit that most of us think, right. And we take these, what are considered social cues sometimes, but sometimes it's just fences that we put around ourselves because we're trying to spare people's feelings, yep. Or we're trying to spare uncomfortable situations, selfishly because we don't want to have the conversation. Sometimes we don't say things, and they don't give a fuck. Yeah. They're like, it's so good, bro, to watch them date. Oh my God, some of the stories where it's like, will I see you again? Nah.
Nope.
Like,
yeah. Dude, one of the chicks, man, she was having like a couple of dates with this dude, and you go, yo, like love connection, man. And she was all fucking like giddy, whatever. And then like a few great dates in, she's like, no. Calls him up on the phone and fucking like nah, I don't think we see each other anymore.
And then he's
like,
kind of like,
you don't got your shit together. No, dude was emotional.
Yeah,
he was emotional.
Because normally they're like,
but
okay.
again, I think that it just kind of goes to show it's like how, like, where are they on that spectrum, right? Yeah. But yeah, it's fucking gold.
It's so good,
it's
man.
Fucking gold.
What was I don't know, did you watch, was there a moment in there where you went, God, I wish I could say that, like, and I kind of like suppress it that you're allowed to talk about it. I need you to tap into your autism right now. We'll take it out. Don't worry. I'll take it out of the pod. Just tell them it's only us here anyway. Nobody listens.
No, man, not really. But it was just like it was interesting watching them go through it, because on one side you go, yo, they're no different than other people in that they want relationships, and what I found to be even more like the people that were sort of most happy were their family. Like for the ones that actually found relationships or found people that they could relate to and be in relationships with, it was like the parents that were overjoyed because they go, yo, this is something that I didn't even think was possible for you.
Oh, so they probably see like, I don't gotta watch you forever.
I was thinking about that shit too,
I thought
bro.
I was stuck with your ass.
There was one dude, man, the one that told his mom, fucking, when are you gonna stop talking? When he finds the girlfriend, right, and then he ends up dating like this chick with Down syndrome.
Okay.
Which they're very honest.
Is that legal?
But they're very honest. Like, I have somebody in my family with Down syndrome, and their honesty is fucking gold.
Oh, and they're the best, bro.
They're the best.
The best.
They're fucking riots, bro.
Yeah. Oh, the absolute best, man.
And so he starts dating this chick anyway, and he brings her home, and yo, the dad, who hasn't said shit on the show, the first thing out of his, not even out of his mouth, is that you see him crying. And I was wondering, I'm just like,
he saw freedom.
He probably, he's like, I'm gonna get this fucker out of here finally.
He's really leaving. I get to go on vacation.
And that motherfucker looked defeated too. He looked much older than he actually was.
He was 47 and he looked like he was 68.
Well, the kid was 30, bro. So you gotta figure, dude, at very least the dude was 50, but he looked like he was 70.
Dude, that's trying, bro. That's so hard, man, to raise like kids who are that.
Yeah.
You know, oh my God, man, that's gotta be tough.
And I said that to you know, I think as a parent of an autistic kid, and I'm not one, but I would imagine that you just want as sort of like quote unquote normal of a life for them, right? And there's a lot of them that can't be on their own.
Yeah, man, I can't imagine what that's like with someone who is so almost totally, you said like who's on the complete opposite side where they're nonverbal, can't be on their own. You know, like right. You have some that can't tie their shoe, and you know that's tough, dude. That's a tough fucking job, and it's like, bro, as like, it's funny because we obviously make fun of shit and stuff on here, and you see, like I've done, like even watching other people do stand up, I've seen people make fun of people with special needs and all that, and then people in the crowd get pissy, and the people in the crowd that get pissy is normally the caretaker. The person who has the Down syndrome or autism or whatever, it's normally fine. They're laughing, and I forget who I heard say this once, and I'm like, it makes so much sense. The caretaker is usually pissy because they are frustrated. And they are, you know, as much as they'll tell you, like, it's a blessing to have, like, this, you know, child that has this, I was put on here to take care of them. It's fucking hard, bro.
Yeah,
and I think it's okay to say that.
Regular kids,
it's right.
Bro.
It's hard to raise regular kids. I think it's okay to say that. And then people get caught up in this whole thing of, like, you know, it just, I think they get offended by a joke you might make about them or to them or whatever. And what I find is, like, people... whether you have a physical disability or a mental disability or whatever, you want to be treated probably like everybody else, and you're gonna get to smoke like everybody else. Especially, you know, you go to a comedy show, you sit front row, and you have no legs. you're getting the smoke, bro. Like, it's just gonna happen. Like, it's just like the elephant in the room that you have to
with
address.
a date.
Yes. Oh my God, you're getting the smoke, bro. Like, you come there and you look a little downsy, even if you're not, you're getting the smoke. But I think, like, those people appreciate that. And what you see is normally the caretakers or the parent or whatever doesn't. And I think it's this pent up frustration because it is so hard. And they'll never say that out loud, or they feel like they can't say it out loud or whatever that is. It's like, nah, I get that. That shit sucks. And it's okay to say that it sucks.
Yeah.
But you're doing it because you love this person, but it doesn't make it suck any less. And I think we get caught up in this whole thing where we feel like we can't say that.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah.
And I think that was a big part of it, man. When you could see almost like the relief on the parents that thought that this was never possible for their kids, and then now they're seeing it, and just like tears, bro.
Yeah,
like, you know.
Are you watching season 2?
Hell yeah.
Let's go. I'm gonna have to catch up on the US one then now, man, so we can talk about it out here. Cause they be so funny, bro. TV is a funny thing. If you date multiple women, you're an asshole, right? But if you date multiple women and you record it, then you're a TV star and they love you. Yeah, you're called the Bachelor. TV's wild, bro. Like, it'll literally, if you date, like, The Bachelor is literally one guy dating 20 women, and it is like one of the most popular TV shows and has been for 2 decades.
Yep.
And it's like, if you do that in your personal life,
you're an asshole.
Shit's not gonna look that good for you.
Just tell them I'm a bachelor.
TV changes everything, bro.
Dude, tell me about this fucking runner that got banned.
Yo, I gotta get her name. So
was this person autistic?
You know what? Maybe that's her like excuse. That should be. I can't even pronounce her fucking name because, of course, anyone who would run these things is not all there. So a Scottish ultra marathoner, what
is an ultra marathon?
Dude, ultra marathons are those ones that are like 100 miles. Maybe to be considered ultra, it's got to be 50 or more. I can't remember what it is.
I'll look that up.
You're out of your fucking mind if you run that for fun, by the way. You have a mental disorder. We just don't know what it's called yet, but there's definitely something there. Her name is Josiah Fuck. There's a W in here that I think doesn't get pronounced because she's from one of those countries. So I'm going to say Josiah Zavzeski. She's been disqualified from the GB Ultras in Manchester to Liverpool race for using a car during the event. I'm pretty sure. I don't think you're allowed to use a car if you run an event. But,
so it's any foot race longer than a traditional marathon.
Okay, so it can be 27 and it's considered an ultra marathon? I thought it had to be like 100 or 50 or whatever. But
various distances, services, formats, race competitively from the shortest common ultra marathon of 31 miles up to 3,100 miles.
Dude, and she initially placed third, right? But the mapping data revealed an implausible mile completion time, and investigation confirmed that her 2.5 mile, that she had a 2.5 mile car ride. Essentially, she did it too quick. And they're like looking at it going like she wasn't even smart enough to like do it in like a good amount of time and then wait and then
like
go.
Take the car and just wait.
No, she did it in like the car time and then just got off. And I guess that's what the data. But she medaled. She collected her thing. She took the photo. It didn't catch her till after the fact. No, I think she placed.
She still lost.
Yeah, she still lost. She took a car for 2.5 miles and still lost. Which is, again, you're the worst cheater on the fucking planet. I think she got second or third. But people were pissed off, like, oh, why they didn't, like the fact that she got the medal and take the photos and do the whole thing and they didn't catch her till afterwards. I'm like,
dude, this shit is
you're probably not looking at that data in real time.
With that, bro, I used to, after the Marine Corps, for many years, and I don't run anymore, but I ran for a really long time. And I used to always have this friend of mine that would be like I would go, hey man, I ran 3 miles yesterday. He would look at me funny and go, is your car broken?
That would be me. Was that me? I think
that wasn't you. But because he would be like, dude, what the fuck? Like, why you running?
Yeah.
And the people that do marathons or ultra marathons or any kind of like, any one of these races, there's a whole pride in it. Like, why the fuck would you take a car? It's not even. A lot of times, to me, it's not even about. It's not always about winning. it's like it's more about like completion.
The
like,
finishing,
am I
yeah.
able to do this? And then if I can do it at a high level and compete with people, then that's even better. But being able to run a 26 miles, I don't give a fuck how slow you are. That's a long time.
Yeah.
If you're consistently running the whole way, dude, kudos to you. I don't give a fuck if you won or not.
26 miles is crazy,
That's crazy
to me
bro.
to even want to do.
Yeah.
I don't have that, whatever that DNA thing is that tells you like, oh, I get high off running or I feel this sense
Dude,
of
I've
accomplishment.
never had a runner's high.
No, not at all. You want to talk about, remember that time we ran that 5K and you pulled that, you jacked up your Achilles like a quarter mile in and I wasn't allowed to train? Because I was talking mad shit to everybody.
Yeah, man. I pulled it from fucking jumping on a sidewalk, like jumping on and off
Because
sidewalks.
it was that grab, no, what do you call that? We had those,
It was
the
like,
pavers.
it was like downtown
It was
Orlando.
weird downtown Orlando. Yeah.
It was on the pavers, and then I was trying to pass people. I was jumping up on fucking sidewalks and jumping back down, and then like a mile
I
in,
jumped up and down just fine. It's because you old as fuck.
I think that was the end of my running career.
that put a halt to the whole.
Yeah, I was like, man, fuck that. It was my calf. It was my calf that I hurt.
Oh, was it the calf? I thought for some reason I thought it was your Achilles.
No, I think it was like
your
my calf.
Okay.
And that shit hurt for a while, man. I was like, yeah, fuck that, man.
Didn't we have multiple people get hurt that same? You weren't the only one from the group that we were with. Okay, I feel like we had a few. In that
It was funny. I still finished before a lot of people
with the fucked up
with
calf.
the fucked up calf. and I had to stop running.
I was gonna say. I remember you had to stop. You had to walk it, right?
Yeah, I ended up like speed walking and shit.
You took a car.
I should have took the fucking car. No one would have cared.
No.
I would have just took it home.
Like, damn, he ran the wrong route.
Damn the finish line. I'd be like, I didn't fucking what is it? DNF.
Hey, Sean just kept going.
Yep.
Oh shit,
Dude, what's going on with this new club after school club?
Yo, this is, I mean, bro, the headline is like obviously controversial, but so there's a school district that will allow an after school Satan club. That's it, right, after school Satan club. And this is after they settled the lawsuit. So the Saucon Valley School District.
Where?
Saucon
Where's
Valley,
that?
wherever the fuck that is.
Come on, but we got to know where this is. This is important, goddammit.
SAUCON,
let me
Saucon
see.
Valley School District, agreed to pay $200,000 in attorney fees while vowing to provide the club with the same access to campuses as other organizations get, despite previous fiery protests. And it's to settle a discrimination lawsuit from the Satanic Temple and allow students to attend a controversial after-school Satan club meetings on school facilities.
Pennsylvania.
Let's go, Pennsylvania. It's an Amish country. Let's fucking go. Bro,
I have to. So and yes. So there is a huge Amish like community.
Yeah.
And when I say Amish, it's like there's different. Shit, I'm gonna get this wrong, man. But it's sort of like different levels to sort of like Amish, right? There's the Amish that are like really strict, like no electricity, and right there's those, and then there's different sort of variations of. I don't even want to call it. I was just say of that community.
there's ones that have AC and ones that don't, basically. There's some that went outside and were like, fuck that.
No, it's funny, man, because there's some with like different sort of like traditions that they're like their own sort of like sector of that community.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's really interesting that this is it's in the same state.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude, but, and the headline is very sensationalized and sexy, the Satan Club, da-da.
Of course.
But I got to say, from my perspective, you have to allow it if you're going to allow any other religious, like, organization. Like, this is the problem with allowing religions in school. Like we're in a country founded on sort of religious freedoms and people can practice what they want and that, like, so this,
but we do pledge allegiance to the flag under God.
correct,
right?
And then we lean towards Christianity and yada yada. But we forget that people sort of left other countries in pursuit of sort of religious freedoms because they were persecuted for believing what they believed, and so like to me, agree or disagree with the belief system, if you let one in, you have to let them all. Like, because now you're showing a bias towards, one or the other.
Yeah.
And I think, again, it doesn't matter whether or not you believe in a Satan or Satanist code or whatever, but if you're going to allow all these other religious clubs to exist, which you probably shouldn't in a school, but besides the point, it's like, but if you're going to allow them, then you got to allow all of them. Like, I'm like, yeah, and the headline sounds crazy, but I'm like, makes sense. Like, to me, I'm reading them going like, okay, yeah, if you allow one, you have to allow them all. So,
dude, but I think that with, at least, and again, I don't know shit about Satanism, right? But I think the sort of the general consensus is that typically religions kind of have, right? Most religions have like some sort of God, and typically it's based around the goodness of humanity, and this is the opposite.
Is it? I don't know.
No, well, at least that's the perception.
Yeah, there's a perception. Yeah,
there's a perception.
I don't know enough about it.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it either, right? So I don't want to speak sort of out of turn, but I think that at least the perception when you hear anything with Satan, it's almost like, like we have this, like, there's a duality of man, right? There's always, even in fucking cartoons, there's the angel on the shoulder and the devil on the shoulder, right? It's like, it's because we all have that thing that tells us, yo, man, don't do that. That's the wrong thing to do. And then there's the other side of the devil on your shoulder going like, fuck that, it's gonna be great. Fucking go do it anyway, right?
But I was raised Catholic, and I feel like God hated me, so that's what Catholicism makes you believe. Catholicism makes you believe you're a piece of shit and you're a pendejo, and the whole Catholicism is just like, it just fills you with guilt until you're 20 years old and you're like, yeah, fuck that.
You'd be like, I shouldn't feel none of this stuff.
Dude, Catholicism just raises you to be like, yeah, everything you think, you believe, you feel is an abomination. And then one day you're like, oh, I don't have to believe this? You're like, tell me more.
Now, it wasn't that way for me, man. But there's definitely some of that, and just in religion in general, right? Even with Christianity, like, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that the general consensus, to at least the people that don't know the details, is that Satanism is this sort of negative, or is this sort of like leaning towards the bad side of humanity, whereas other religions don't. They, you sort of lean and encourage the good side of humanity.
Right.
And so I think for that, it's hard for people to go, yo, why do you allow that? It's almost like going, hey, like, here's a, I don't know, here's a club for fucking businessmen, and then like, well, I want a club for organized crime. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's from our society's perspective, it's just like, no, like, I don't wanna encourage and raise criminals.
Correct, but I think also from a perspective of religion in general, right? Like, you could, or cults, right? Like, then what's to stop you from then integrating any kind of sort of organized cult or religion, or because they're not all good, right? Like, they're like you said, like Christianity's based on this premise of love and forgiveness and acceptance, but we know, depending on the flavor of Christianity, that's not necessarily true, right?
Yeah,
like,
but so is like, Muslim,
right? Absolutely.
But
but each one of those religions has a segment that isn't necessarily based in that, right? Like, that either has an extremism to it, or has a belief system, because we can't even all agree on a religion, right? Like, everybody reads the same Bible, but no one interprets it the same way, right? Like, you have all these religions across the world, and every single one of them read from the same book, and all of them can tell you a different thought that they have behind what they think those passages mean, and they all think they're absolutely right.
Yeah, and there's different versions of sort of Christianity, right? So Christianity,
I'm saying all the flavors,
like all the flavors, right? You have Catholics, the fucking Lutherans, who are very much like Catholics, and then Baptists, and what have you, and they're all based on Christianity, but it's all different flavors. But I think that those religions, at least try to come from a place
of love and forgiveness, right, and good. Yeah, for sure.
Whereas this at least at least on the surface, appears to be the opposite.
I feel like we'd have to look into Satanism and feel like what it preaches.
That's your homework for next week.
That's the homework. I'm gonna look into this because I think my gut tells me like it's not that I agree with. Oh yeah, let's teach our kids Satanism, but I think I'm very much of the keep religion out of schools camp, and so I go. But if you're gonna have a club, then you gotta have them all. Like, and then it's up to me or my kids or whoever to decide what they want to attend. But then you have to sort of offer all of them. You know, again, you don't have to agree with them all, but you got to let them all in. You can't, because now you're showing a bias, and then you're sort of like, I think, grooming people towards one side. And I think that I would have a problem with. Like, I'd have a problem with a school grooming my kids towards a certain religion, because that's sort of what I'm there for. Like, I'm, you know, if you practice a certain religion, you want to be the one to expose your kids to that and tell them, hey, here's what we believe and what we think, you know, like, or you want to tell them, hey, I decided on my own, here's how I came to my conclusion, and then you expose them as many as possible and let them make a decision when they're old enough to do so, like whatever that is. Yeah. But I think giving people the choice, I think this isn't, I guess my point was this isn't as
you can't discriminate against
it. Yeah, you can't discriminate against it. It isn't as sexy of a headline where people are like, oh my God, Satan in school. You know, like, I'm like, no, it makes sense. If you let one in from a common sense standpoint, I'm like, it makes sense. Like, you got to do it.
All right, man. Yo, you see this fucking this new AI pin?
Ooh, I heard briefly, but I didn't see a whole lot of detail. And I'm looking
at my notes here, man. I think the company's name is it Humane or Human? I didn't write the fucking thing.
And this
down.
is the company that's saying they're gonna replace your phone, right?
So it's weird, man. So the company is Humane. Sorry, so I do have it written down here, and it's former Apple designers.
Okay.
And this device, and again, I think that. So sorry, let me take a step back. So this device, it is a pin. It is sort of something that at least in the advertisement is something that you hook on to your shirt.
Okay, so like a pin. You clip onto
your shirt. Okay, right. Does it replace your phone? I mean, it definitely has phone features in it. Okay. It also has like this like hologram projector that it projects onto your hand with like, right. So, but the idea is that. That's crazy. The idea is that it's more incorporated into your life. And so, like, you could be at a grocery store and you pick up a fucking fruit and you don't even know what it is. And you're like, yo, like, what is this? And it looks at it and it goes like, oh, that's a fucking apricot. And this is the, you know, here are the nutritional values for it and blah, 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 right?
It's funny you picked that one because I couldn't pick an apricot out of the lineup.
See? This is be the thing for you, man. But... Dude, so it's controlled with a combination of like voice control. There's a camera. You can use small gestures, and like I said, it has a built-in projector. It's powered by ChatGPT 4.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But there's no, and so it didn't show in the advertisement that you can kind of talk to somebody over the phone, but it was one of those things where it would tell you like, oh, hey, like Juan is calling. And then you could go like, oh, tell Juan that I'll call him back. Or tell Juan that I'm going to meet him at, fucking Corona's at 7 p.m.
Okay.
And so it would kind of relay messages back to people either that were texting you or calling you.
Gotcha.
But the idea was that you can just talk to this thing and you tell it, you say what you want to know, or what you want, and then it just happens. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was interesting that these are former Apple designers, and because it made me think about Steve Jobs. And Steve Jobs said something, and don't quote me on this, but he said something to the effect of like, people don't know what you want, so you show it to them.
Yeah. That's a great.
And that might be the exact quote.
It's the best quote. Yeah, no, that's the exact quote. People don't know what they want.
They don't know what you want.
Yeah.
And I looked at this, and at first I was just like, nah, not for me. But again, I'm only seeing what's on the surface. If this is something that you almost like incorporate into your life to where, like, matter of fact, one of the things was just like, hey, did I close the garage door? And then it links to your fucking house, and it's just like, oh yeah, like you closed it. Yes, it's closed. Or it's like, hey, make sure my garage was closed. And it's like, oh yeah, garage was closed.
Dude, it's like the Alexa shit. Like, how much shit in your house do you control with an Alexa where we were like, what does this thing do? Or is it just like a fancy, it'll play music back to
I still don't use it to its capacity, bro.
Oh, man. Yeah, and I don't think any of us do to an extent, but I definitely have a lot of shit hooked up to it that you forget how convenient it is, or you're like, oh, yeah, that's kind of dope. Yeah. And dude, and I'll say, like, you were saying something before about AI. One of my favorite features on so I changed phones recently, and I'm not gonna say which one until y'all pay me. But one of my favorite features is this AI feature that will screen calls for you. So, typically on a phone, you can answer, you can decline, or the phone has like a spam filter and it'll spam phone. Mine lets you answer and a robot talks to it, but it sounds like a person. And it'll literally have the conversation.
So
and it's
it'll pick up my call.
Yeah, it'll pick up and the person can talk to it and it'll talk to it. And it'll literally say, "Hey, this is like blah, 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 blah. What is this call about?" And you can hear what they say, and it's transcribing it, or you can read it if you want to. And then it tells you what the person said, and then you can tell it how to answer, and the robot talks back to him, but it sounds like a human.
Does it give you like choices? I'm assuming.
Yes, it gives you choices, but you can type it too.
Okay.
And so you can have a whole conversation with we all get those calls that we don't really feel like answering. They were like, but we want to know who it is or whatever. It's fucking brilliant, bro. And it sounds like you have like a personal assistant almost, because it doesn't sound like an answering machine. It sounds like a human. Like it literally goes, "Hey, this is a call screener for so-and-so, like blah, blah, blah. Can I ask you what you're calling about?" And one of the quick responses is this an emergency? So if you're like me, it's like a feature I use all the time. I'm in a meeting or whatever at work and I get a call and it could be my kid and I can literally say, "Is this an emergency?" And it picks up and goes, "Hey, blah, blah, blah is not available now. Is this an emergency?" And I can hear them go, "No, just wanted to see." And it's typing it out. So if I can't listen to it, I can see it. And I'm like, okay, cool. Man. It's fucking awesome. But I'm like, but it's a feature I didn't know that I needed or wanted until I saw it. I didn't even know it was a thing. And I have it now. And I'm like, I don't know how I went this whole time without it. But to your point, it's like this shit is... The pin thing, I remember hearing about it and going like, that's kind of weird. But then I'm like,
yeah, and it's kind of this square box.
And it looks
kind of funky.
It looks like you're a cop wearing a body cam. I mean, that's what it looks like all the time. Like it's like the closest thing I could compare it to. But
that was the other thing that it does. So you can be like wherever, and you can be like, "Oh, record this."
And it'll record. Dude, it's like the
video,
Snapchat glasses.
Or take the picture. Yes.
You remember the Snapchat sunglasses?
I remember.
I still have mine. Probably the only person on the planet that has Snapchat sunglasses.
No, I remember the Google Glass. Those were supposed to be a thing that never really became a thing, right? But I think that this is one of those things, man, where it may not be this, but there may be something that comes after this that models it, but maybe better design or something like that, man. So it remains to be seen, man. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I think it's I think it's a neat idea. I think the wearables is where it's at now. I just haven't been able to pinpoint which wearable it is. Like the pin, I'm like I could see us with a bracelet, maybe a necklace, maybe a ring, maybe something more common with like everyday sort of like utility. But I don't know if the pin's the idea. I don't know what the practical thing is of always remembering to put a pin on yourself. But maybe it's it. I don't know. But I do think we're going to get away from a physical device like this where we're carrying it, and we will eventually move to some type of wearable. Like it's just like we started with the watches and all that. Honestly, I've been waiting for the whole like bracelet watch thing that pulls up a hologram of your phone screen just in the air.
And this thing does shoot out like a hologram. Like it's not a hologram, it's a projector. So you put your hand out and then it projects onto your hand so you can read shit that it's
so like I'm like, dude, I've been shocked that nobody's put a projector in a phone where you can just like, we could be here and I could be like, oh yeah, and I can just put it up. I'm like shocked that that's not a thing yet. I'm sure it will be like at some point, but for like the last 5 years I've been like, how has no one put a projector on a phone now, considering how much we use our phones in our daily lives for everything? And especially like content is deliberately made for like phones now where you just go,
this is why we're leaving this wall like this
white
man,
and plain and ugly,
because we're gonna be able to project here right for the video.
Right, you gotta keep it in mind, man. It's coming.
How we doing on time, bro?
Dude, we're hour 8 into this, man.
All right, let's finish it up, man.
You want to talk about how Latinos are gonna run the world here soon? What do you want to finish with?
Do it.
You want to do it? All right, bro. So the U.S. Census estimates that in 1 in 4 Americans by the year 2060 will be Latino. First off, we already talked about how we multiply like roaches.
I was just gonna say, bro.
Duh.
It's because when I look at you, you get pregnant.
Yeah, you get listen. if you have any kind of issues, we already talked about your swimmers. My boy swimmers was on point. But this running joke is like, yeah, we look at you long enough, you're getting pregnant. So, of course, there's going to be 1 in 4 Latinos. But I had some stats in here, which I didn't know. I mean, I knew we were high. I just didn't know it was this high. So the Latino population is currently 19.1%. But
in the U.S.?
In the U.S.
Okay.
But it is estimated to reach 26.9% of the population by 2016. So about 1 in 4.
Wow.
And I think we've had conversations on this before, because the other part of this, it was saying that like the Caucasian, or I guess will go from, the non-Hispanic white population is anticipated to decline from 58.9% to 44.9% by 2060. And so then Latinos will make up a good majority of the sort of minority, I guess. And we've had this conversation before. I think we're gonna get to the space though where I think most people will be just mixed. Will be some
right.
Like I can look at my kids, and my kids will be I like, where do you put them in this bucket then? Because my kids will be white, black, and Latino. So
right.
Then like is mixed.
Depends on which
bucket.
box they check.
Yeah, it's right. It depends on the box that they check.
Which one is gonna give you the most benefit?
Yeah. Like, you want a scholarship, kiddo? Don't check the white one,
bro. And I think I told you this before, bro. There was so. Historically, for me, man, I've had great credit, like, forever.
Could you check the white box?
I don't recall. You know what? I believe I have. Yes. So sorry. Not because I checked it. But here's the deal. Semi recently, I would say in the last like 2 or 3 years, I filled out for a loan, and now I always go through my bank, and I've been with my bank for since in the 90s. Okay. My credit score's always been high, and I've always gotten, whenever I needed like a car loan or whatever, I call them up. They literally put me on hold for like 2 minutes, and they come back and they go, "Where do you want your check?" Okay, so it's always been that way for me.
Yeah.
Dude, I filled out for a loan a few years ago, and I checked black, and it wasn't denied, but it took me like I had to call again to go like, "What the fuck's going on?" And there was something that happened or whatever, and I had to redo the application because something went wrong or whatever. And so I'm not blaming it on this, but I went back through and I checked white the next time, and it instantly, here's your loan.
It's kind of wild, man.
It's wild, bro.
It is. I mean, I know it's a thing. And listen, there's I guess there is, statistically speaking, there are different demographics that are going to have different borrowing rates or default rates, and I'm sure they have that data or whatever. But
and that's what I'm wondering, man.
Yeah.
Because you know, like I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Of like black folks in America like not being able to get loans, and
which
stuff
is
like
fucked
that.
up. Like, have you seen the house appraisals, man? Which is crazy, where a black person will go get their house appraised, and then like, let's say like a mixed couple,
Right.
and then the black person, you know, like say the black husband will be there, and the house appraises like really low, and then the white wife will go, and then it appraises like way differently.
Oh,
It
wow,
appraises
no.
higher. Like, you see a lot of those scenarios.
That's crazy.
I think, honestly, man, I think we'll get further and further away from that, because again, I think everyone, dude, even like white people that I know are, you know, they're like Italian, they're German, they're like of this descent, they're mixed, and it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. But it's just, I think we're getting into this space now where we're all going to be just this
hodgepodge
like true
of-
it's like
yeah.
a smorgasbord, or, you know, like melting pot of really, like, again, I look at my kids, I look at your kids, I look at my kids' friends, and all of them are like, we're all just so integrated now that we're all just a bunch of mixed. Like, I think there's just going to be a bunch of mixed kids. Like, you're going to have to redefine this, because we're not going to know what white is, what Latino
Correct.
is, what black is, what brown is, whatever. Like, you know, like Asians will be the only ones left that you can sort of tell apart. You know, like the rest of them are just going to be like, oh yeah, my mom's black and my dad's white, and, you know, whatever. Like, I think that's just going to be more and more and more common.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see, but like, I feel like my kids and then my kids' will be, you're not going to get these like pure mixed of anything anymore kind of thing. Not here anyway. Like,
Yeah.
because again, this is the great experiment, and that's what the whole point
Yeah,
of
the
America
melting
was,
pot,
right?
right?
The America was the melting pot, a great experiment of a bunch of us coming together, like, no matter what. So it's like, yeah. I'd be curious to see if this shit holds up the way it does, like 2060, like Latino. And then do you just count anybody who's any part Latino to get to that number?
And that's the thing, like Latino counts for so much, right? Like, it's not like it's anyone in that like Caribbean, not anyone, sorry. But we're in the Caribbean, we're in like all of South America.
Yeah.
We're obviously in North America. I don't know if you count, like, do you count Spaniards as Latino? No, right?
No. So Spaniards account, but anyone in Latin America.
They're European.
Dude, technically Haitians are Latinos.
Is that right?
I'm pretty sure anyone in Latin America is a Latino. So there's like certain countries that fall into this Latin America, and this debate gets like really old. And that's because that's the other part is like, I think technically as a Latino, you can have Haitians, you can have people from St. Kitts and Croix, you can have.
I didn't think Haitians, man, because I mean Haitians is like right, like they got their language from the French, but they're made up of African slaves.
It is, but but so is every other Latin country, right?
At least in the Caribbean.
At least in the Caribbean, as I'm saying, the whole Caribbean is made up of like,
true that.
So, and oddly enough, Puerto Rico, like is made up of
African slaves,
and Taino Indian slaves and white. It's just like that one's a smorgasbord of all of them. So it's just like, okay, where did that fall into the whole thing?
Yeah, Puerto Rico is crazy, man. It's like you have like the blonde hair, blue eyes, Puerto Rican, down to like the blue black.
Yep. It really is like it's like an America of a Latin country where
it's a
like
spectrum.
It is. Way to bring it full circle. It's love on the spectrum. So get yourself a Latino, I guess. Long story short.
That's right.
Get yourself a Latino.
They're going to take over anyway.
They're going to take over anyway. You might as well have one.
And on that, tell them where they can find us.
If you're not already following at the Carbon Football Podcast on IG, at Carbon FE Pod on X, the Carbon Football Podcast on YouTube, and in all your favorite audio platforms, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, which Stitcher's going away. I keep forgetting.
I think it's gone, bro.
I think it's gone. It's gone. Yeah. And then so is Google Podcast is gone. So we're now on YouTube Podcasts, Amazon, Audible, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else really where you get your audio from or podcast from or music from. We're probably on there. And then shout out in the spirit of Thanksgiving, man. Thank you guys, man. We're just fucking grateful for like
absolutely
like anybody who listens and interacts and watches videos and hits likes or dislikes or whatever. Like honestly, I like the people who curse us out and talk shit just as much as I like the people like us, because at least we made you feel some type of way. I don't care if it's good or bad or thing. Like we got a reaction, and like I think having the conversation is the whole point.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And as always, we appreciate you guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And we will see you next week.
See you next week.
Peace.
Peace.